Welcome to Revitalize and Replant with Mark Clifton, where we equip pastors to take their churches from declining to thriving by pointing them to a new future and a new hope. Join us weekly for encouragement and practical advice in your pastoring journey.
Well, welcome back to Revitalize and Replant. I'm Mark Clifton, and this is Mark Hallock.
Hey.
Right here. And over here is Kyle Bierman, except he just left the room. So anyway, we don't have anybody running the controls. So
this is scary, bud.
The adults have left the room. But anyway, we're going to talk today about something Mark and I are... There's a lot of things we don't know a lot about. A lot of things we fake it as being experts.
Boy, that's for sure.
We just kind of fake it. But this, ladies and gentlemen, this is something we know more about than anybody on the face of the earth. We are the ultimate experts in this. Search far and wide. You'll never find anybody who knows more about this subject than we do. Tag this podcast. It'll go in the Podcast International Hall of Fame because these two boys know more about this subject than any persons who've ever walked the earth. Right. And what is the subject we're going to talk about today?
Listen, 5 sure ways to fail in leading church revitalization.
There you go. We know how to fail.
How to fail.
We know how to fail.
We can tell you how to do it wrong.
That's right. So here, these are written by Mark Hallock himself.
Well, yeah. This is out of my own needing to grow, and this is out of, as we work with guys around the country. And just, again, simple things, but again, we always need to go back to the fundamentals.
Yep.
And that's the heart behind this.
So in church revitalization, 5 ways to fail.
5 sure ways to fail. Number one. Lack of humility. Lack of humility. Now, with each of these, Clifton, I wrote just kind of a brief description of what this looks like.
Go for it.
This is leading as though you are the expert and have all the answers for turning this church around. So you come into a church and you're kind of the answer guy. Mm-hmm. You've read the books. Mm-hmm. You've got a degree, maybe. Mm-hmm. And, man, you know how to turn this thing around. And guess what? The people are looking at you going, who do you think you are, pal?
That's right.
So lack of humility.
You know, one of the things, I have lunch and coffee and meetings with lots of young pastors and old pastors and middle-aged pastors. There's lots of pastors.
All pastors. And
there's something I can pick up real quickly. If when I sit down with somebody for the first time and they want to just interact with me and ask me, supposedly they want my opinion on things, and that's why they're asking me to meet with them. But really, what they do is just sort of try to inform me on how much they know about stuff, how much I know about church revitalization, and and not really ask me any questions.
Kind of trying to impress you a little bit.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And I'm thinking, dude, that's the wrong posture to take. We want all of us to be in a learning posture. I mean, if I sit down with Tom Rainer or with Chuck Lawless or with H.B. Charles, I'm not going to try to tell him how much I know. My goodness, I want to know what they know, right?
I got nothing to bring.
I got nothing to bring, right? I want to know, hey, tell me, what's going on, right? And so having that kind of hunger, there's a lot I don't yet know is so important. And oftentimes the other is just covering up for basic insecurity. And insecurity is really a lack of trust in the gospel.
Yeah.
And being more worried about what people think about us than we need to be.
That is so true.
It's a good word.
Well, and I'll tell you what, bro, and you and I have talked about this. The things you learn, if you're humble in posture, from the folks in that church that you would never expect. I think about some of the older sweet saints who are now with the Lord, who would have never probably said anything, but the wisdom they had in helping me learn how to be a better shepherd. So be a learner. Here's my point. Be humble and a learner of anybody and everybody in that congregation.
And I've said this on many occasions. It's not new with me. A lot of people have done it. But when I was at Warnell Road and even at Linwood on a smaller scale, but especially at Warnell Road when I was trying to just kind of learn my way and what I was doing there, I really asked our elders to autopsy not only my sermons, but my life, and say, look, help me be a better preacher. And these were men who were half my age who'd never preached, but I needed help, and I knew I needed
really
help.
Good. Yep.
And so that posture of openness and, hey, help me do better, and learning from that and hearing their honest criticisms that were helpful really shaped a lot of who I am today.
I love that. So number one, if you want to know how to fail, a sure way, it's a lack of humility. Number two is a lack of patience. And this is when we talk about patience, this is failing to take the time needed. Listen, to earn trust, and then to lead the flock with godly wisdom. So 2 pieces there in patience. You've got to earn trust so that you can lead wisely.
And I would say if you're a church looking for a pastor, listen to this. Look for a pastor who has humility, and look for a pastor who has expressed patience
Man, that's
in situations.
really true. Yeah.
Because, again, we talk about tactical patience. It's not patience that you never change anything. You just have a wisdom that comes with leaning into the Holy Spirit that says this isn't worth changing right now.
Yes.
The cost of changing this is greater than the cure is worse than the ailment. The cost of changing it is worse than the issue we have right now. And it may be that I want to change it because I don't like it, or it may be I want to change it because I feel like it reflects poorly on me. And in reality, the time to change it is not yet, because many times in a declining church, these people have been wounded, they've been hurt, they're frustrated. Sometimes they're full of shame because the church is in decline under their watch. And people who have that can kind of feel cornered sometimes and can kind of snap back at you if you're not careful. And so you got to realize that they're going to follow your leadership only to the degree that they trust you as their shepherd. And you only earn that trust as a shepherd, as you just said, Mark, over time. Not quickly. You can't rush that. As you spend time with them, as you walk through life with them, as you listen to their stories, as you show compassion to them, as you love them as a pastor has never loved them before, and you are spending time with them, and as they trust you as their shepherd, then they will follow your leadership. Sometimes even if they don't particularly like where you're going, they've decided that they like you.
They trust you.
And they trust you.
And they know that you love them.
In fact, often that will be the case. They will even tell you, Pastor, I don't really like doing this, but you know what? I trust you and I love you.
Yep.
Then you know you've really achieved something.
That's so true, man. Okay, so number 1, again, we're talking about sure ways to fail in leading church revitalization. Number 1 is a lack of humility. Number 2 is a lack of patience. And number 3 is a lack of faith. And so what I mean by this is the temptation that is just right in front of us all the time to trust in things other than the Lord and His Word to bring renewal to this congregation.
Yeah, I've been heavily influenced by Henry Blackaby. And I know some people don't really know who he is, don't really know that much about him. He was a generation ago, really. His son Richard obviously is doing a lot of work.
Very well.
But I knew him very well, and very personal. And I remember Henry, and Henry was known for saying things that were really thought-provoking. Let me just put it that way, all right? And sometimes off-putting to people, and seemingly overly simplistic, but I think spot on. And I remember Henry used to say, when we're doing church administration, we often go out and look for people who are good at administering things in the world. And you think, well, that makes sense. If he can run a business, he could help us organize the church. But Henry would say, the ways of God are not always the ways of men. In fact, they're often not the ways of men. And if you try to take the world's ways of managing something into the church, what do you get? And he said, what often happens is, not always, but he said often people who are very gifted in secular administration don't understand how when you come into the church that faith has to play a key role in that administration. The faith is the main component because God's going to do only what He can do. There's some miraculous things that He's doing in His church that He's probably not going to do in a business, right? And so sometimes in our world we don't understand that the component that faith plays. And again, like Henry said, we go out and we find the best businessmen, businesswomen to come in and do the organization and the structure and the administration of the church, when maybe we need to find the most prayerful people, the most faithful people, who let God do something that we could step back and say, wow, that wasn't of men.
Man, that
so was
true.
Only of God.
That's right. In our weakness, He is strong.
Yeah.
That is so true, man. That's a really good word. You know, and I was thinking about, too, just going along with that, how quick we are to say, well, if you just, get rid of the pews, or if you just get a smoke machine.
Or just change the sign, or change the name.
Then, like looking for a quick fix.
Yeah, there aren't any quick fixes.
And putting faith in those things.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I mean, listen, this isn't just you, Pastor, but a lot of times your people are looking for a quick fix. You've got to help not just model, but teach why. Guys, we've got to trust the Lord.
Yeah.
We need to trust what He's told us in His Word how he revitalizes dying churches. And it's not to say that, chairs are bad or paint's bad. It's just saying that's not where the power is.
No, and living by faith and leading by faith is it can be an uncomfortable situation because we like to see we like to live by sight, not by faith. We want to see where the future is. Right. We want to see where the money's coming from. We want to see and so to live out there by faith like that, and yet that's what he calls us to do.
Yes, that's right.
It has been said so many times, but 95% of what took place in the book of Acts could have never taken place without the Holy Spirit. But unfortunately, maybe 95% of what takes place in our church every week, the Holy Spirit has really nothing to do with it. Because we're not living by faith, we're living by our own wisdom, our own ability, our own understanding. And that's how we function in the world, so that's how we function in the church. Man. And that should not be.
Okay, so lack of humility, lack of patience, lack of faith. Here's a fourth sure way to fail in leading church revitalization, and that's a lack of perseverance.
Well, isn't that the truth? We say years 3 and 4, maybe even into year 5 is when most of us tap out and say, I'm done.
Yep.
They're not hearing me. First year or two, they kind of put up with you, and they may even kind of like all your excitement. But the second year or 2 or 3, maybe things start turning around, start changing. They realize the cost of the change,
right.
And the adversary really begins to work hard on their hearts to want them to resist this change, and it's spiritual warfare. And you may have some friends who say, you don't need to be in that place where they don't love you and respect you. You've got so much more potential. Why don't you look over here? Yeah. And man, it's so easy not to persevere through that, and yet you have to persevere. It's those second, third, and fourth years. Sometimes for some of you listening to us, it's the 10th and 12th year.
Yeah.
But we could share pastor story after pastor story where guys would say, man, I'm so glad I stayed through that.
Yes.
And I battled through those difficulties.
Yep.
And I persevered into those challenges so that God could do something only He could do. And I didn't flee from it. Now, we've got to talk in another podcast about your family and how you deal with them through that, right, and those kinds of things. But man, preach, pray, love, and stay.
That's right.
And persevere.
Yeah, I mean, of course there are going to be times and situations where the Lord's going to move you on. So we're not saying that, but we are saying that that's not really, the problem in our day is guys who jump ship way too quickly. And the word that I just want to share is, again, guess what? The grass is not always greener somewhere else. I think there's guys who, quite frankly, live in this place. They're never fully in that church. They never have the impact that they could have in that church because they're always looking for the way out.
Yeah.
So they daydream, and they look at church boards and, boy, maybe that's something. Maybe I could give myself to that. And here's just all I would say. One, God has you there for a reason, to persevere. He wants to grow you in that. And I promise you, wherever you go, there you are. So it's like, there's no perfect situation.
What's that analogy? Burn the ships. I mean, you show up at an island and you burn the ships. There's no way to go home. Yep. We're here. We're not leaving.
Here we are.
And I think sometimes we don't burn the ships. We keep them right out there and say, I can escape. That's my escape hatch.
Jump on anytime.
I can get out of here. And God's not going to honor that by any means. And also remember the Apostle Paul, when he wanted to come to Ephesus, he couldn't, or come to Corinth rather. Yeah. He wanted to come to Corinth to be with the Corinthians, and he wanted to spend a lot of time with them. He said, I can't come for 2 reasons. You've heard us say this, but you're going to hear it again. The 2 reasons Paul couldn't come to Corinth was, number 1, a great door of opportunity had opened in Ephesus. So there's stuff happening here. I can't leave. But in the very same sentence, he says, and there are many adversaries. Listen to us, brothers. Adversity is never a reason to leave a church. Paul says adversity is a reason to stay. If you left because of adversity, you'll never stay anywhere.
That's right.
Because any place where the gospel is being proclaimed and the Lord is moving, the adversary is going to bring adversity.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what we're thinking about. I mean, if adversity is a reason, you don't leave the battlefield in the middle of the battle. Paul's saying, I can't leave now. The fight is on.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's like, how can you even think that?
How can I think that I'm in the midst of a battle here, a worthy battle? I can't run away now and hide,
That's
right? Or you're out there on the field and it's the 4th quarter and it's the 4th down and there's 2 yards to go. You're going, well, this is too hard. I'm going to go, I'm quitting. No, it's the adversity is the reason you stay.
Yes.
Now, you leave a place Only when the Lord removes, not over a period of a day or two, but over a period of a season or more, He removes your compassion for that place, your heart for that place. That's another podcast altogether. There are reasons to leave, but adversity in and of itself is never a reason to leave.
That's really good. Okay, so we're at number 5. This is the last one. 5 sure ways to fail in leading church revitalization. Number 1, lack of humility. Number 2, lack of patience. Number 3, lack of faith. Number 4, lack of perseverance. And number 5 really is foundational for all of these, and that's a lack of love. Forgetting that above all, the Lord has called you to care for and shepherd His people with deep love, forgiveness, grace, and truth. Yeah. Loving God's people. Loving the Lord and loving God's people. If you don't love God's people, it's why, I'm sure I've shared this before, on more than one occasion, I've run into young guys who express interest in, they want to be pastors and they're excited about preaching. They're excited about this stuff. And they'll make a comment like, man, I'm not really a people guy.
Yeah.
I'm not really into people.
Well, then don't be a pastor.
Well, then don't be a pastor, man. because what people need, what sheep need is a shepherd who's going to love them.
That's right.
Love them. And that love is what really, if you want to have a fruitful ministry, it's going to all flow from your love for the Lord and your love for these people.
Now,
a dying church does not need a pastor with a big ego who wants to build a platform and loves himself more than he loves the people.
That's right. And look, you can be wired like I am as an introverted person, but still love people.
Totally.
And when I am with people, I want to engage with them and I want to love them and I want to be with them. Now, I need time to get away and I need time to recoup.
Yep.
But it's not like when I'm with them, I'm not loving them and caring for them. And so I think, yes, you can be a very outgoing person, but you know what? You can be an outgoing person and you can use people.
Absolutely.
If you're an outgoing, I don't use people because I don't need their feedback. I need solitude and I need to be alone.
That's
okay.
Right.
So when I'm with people, it's because I love them and I want to engage them. It's not because I really need their feedback. However, if you're a really outgoing person, you could find yourself needing their affirmation.
Absolutely.
And that place, you're not feeding your flock, you're feeding off of your flock. And so if you're an introvert, you've got to pray through that and say, Lord, give me a love for people and give me some stamina to stand and be with people all day and to engage with them. If you're an outgoing person, Lord, help me love these people and not love the affirmation they give me.
Yeah, that's good.
Those are all. But
that's
you've
really
got
wise,
to love
man.
your people.
Yeah, it's not an extrovert-introvert
No,
thing.
it's not.
It's about the heart.
That's right. Totally about the heart.
To love. So, guys, hopefully this has been helpful. Again, 5 sure ways to fail. And by God's grace, we want to do the opposite of these things.
Yeah.
So that we can see churches revitalized and experience the joy of the Lord.
Absolutely. And we never get over it. We battle these on an ongoing basis until we get to heaven.
Yep.
We're going to battle these, but as long as we battle them, the win is assured. The Lord will give you the victory in these if you truly submit to Him. Thanks for listening. Check us out at churchreplanters.com, and please subscribe and have your friends subscribe. We would love to have even more people join us every Tuesday, every Thursday, or whenever you tend to listen to this podcast.
Thanks for joining us today on Revitalize and Replant. This podcast is brought to you by the North American Mission Board, where we help dying or struggling churches regain health for the glory of God and the good of their communities. If you found this conversation helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform. To learn more about becoming a replanting pastor or to explore resources about revitalization for your own church, visit churchreplanters.com.